pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, everybody get a chance to review the minutes? Anybody like to move them? So moved by Doug, seconded by Tim. Any other comments? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, we got that going. Nothing else. We'll go right to, what's the first item on the agenda?
Other board actions.
Other board actions, which is the rules and procedures, correct?
Correct.
The only thing that I saw were the changes I made. Did anybody else have any additional changes? I think Tim had some questions.
I had a question on page 1F, where it refers to the town of Farmington Town Board Resolution number 326 of 2020 regarding remote attendance of members. Is that still?
That could probably be removed now, right? Because that was the COVID one.
Right.
And then, since then, the state has said you can't do it, basically, right?
You can chime, you can zoom in and watch, you just can't say anything, right?
I would have to go back and see what that said.
Well, yeah, let's look at that. John, would you take a quick look at that and see what that resolution was? And I don't think that's still valid because the state said we can't do it unless it's an emergency.
Right. And then
So we would just fall back to the state statutes on that.
on page 16, number 30, it also refers to it. Planning board members may participate either in person at the meeting or by remote video conference.
Yeah, let's check that out and probably remove both of those. Okay, John?
Other than that, it's a good read.
Anybody have any other changes?
The only thing I was thinking,
Yeah.
do we want to put a date like for the public submitting a ranch and draft to there? We want to have them right before the next meeting, just so that we have time to do that. Or I guess we just keep
No,
the
I
public
think that
hearing.
maybe there's something tonight we
Yeah.
review.
We'd have to keep it open, so we do it.
Well, we wouldn't have to. We could still close the public hearing, but we would then have to, we wouldn't make a decision until we had a chance to review.
Yeah, okay,
So I think we're okay there.
okay.
I just wanted to at least get something in here so that if we ever get questioned of why we didn't change the ruling because of something that somebody pulled off the internet that wasn't dated, they're not substantiated, and we end up in court, we now have something that allows us to, I won't say ignore it, but at least give it lower priority. So.
Pretty much that's what we do, I feel like.
Well, yeah, but if it's not in writing and we end up in court,
Yeah,
you know, and it seems like we're getting closer to that all the time, some of these bigger projects. So with that change, and then John's gonna look at those two, and I think we'll probably end up removing those because I think we'll just use state statutes on those.
I'll call Peter.
Yeah, okay. And with that, everybody okay? Do I have a motion to approve the rules and procedures with those changes?
Motion by Tim.
Motion by Tim, second by
Doug?
Doug. Any other comments? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, they're approved. It'll be 1 to 25.
You're leaving, I think on the one, you're leaving the notice still on there at the back.
Yeah. And, so that, which is interesting, because I did tell you a short little story. I went in for my annual physical or whatever they call it today. And, they gave me the old timer stats where I had to draw a clock and do some other things like that.
Yes.
I passed, I did pass. And, it was funny because after, you had to put your name and date on it. And when, after we got done, I said, you know, what you should have really done is if I didn't put 25 down or I put 24, you probably should have flunked me. Okay, so now we go to, reports. Ron.
Okay. We prepared a draft local law on short-term residential rentals. And being reviewed by staff.
Mhm.
At the same time, the Association of Towns and today the Association of Counties County Association. Have indicated that they are pushing the governor to adopt legislation that has been approved by the Assembly and the Senate, requiring state permits for collecting sales tax on these short-term rentals.
Oh, that's right, I did hear about that.
So that's in the works. It's being reviewed and we'll see where that goes. Chapter 144, the subdivision regulations. I've got 20 pages of amendments to those regulations. Some of the more interesting parts of those regulations is that the state law now says when you approve a letter of credit, it has to be for a specific period of time and it cannot exceed 3 years. So some of these projects that we've had out there where we've had letters of credit created and nothing happened, or partial release, then we need to get that back before the planning board for a recommendation to the town board, and the town board require an amendment. This is important because, as you know, inflation, the cost of delays of delivery of products and materials. The law says that with a surety, we cannot go ahead and have the work completed and charge them what it costs today to complete it.
Right.
Because we can only charge them for what they had filed with a letter of credit how many years ago. So that's something that we need to look at very carefully. Keep in mind when you start getting into things like Monarch Manor, for example, where they want to combine 3 sections, okay? The reality of them completing those 3 sections in a 3-year period of time, keep that in the back of the mind.
Well, yeah, and I'm sitting here thinking that maybe 3 years is too long for some projects. I mean, my goodness,
Well, it doesn't say you have to do 3.
right. I'm thinking maybe 2. I mean, the town board should look at that very closely and think about maybe a 2-year, given the inflation rates we got going on.
Right now, when we do a letter of credit, it's for a 1-year period. And then it's automatically renewed for an additional year. So you got 2 years there. Maintenance bonds, 2 years, 10%. That hasn't changed. We're also looking at the chapter 159 water rules and regulations. There have been some questions asked about, well, what do we do with some of these water districts that perhaps are part of the consolidated water district with Canandaigua, and other ones like Fox Road and some of the other ones that are separate water districts. And then you got the Monroe County Water Authority and in the area up there, Klein Road and whatnot. So that's being looked at. Parking regs were been asked to update those, and sent a draft out today for identifying parking rules and regulations to include the park and ride lots. As you know, we got that donated to us from the state when they built 332. Now we're trying to figure out, is there any other municipalities along the thruway that are similar to us that have had these park and ride lots given to them? And if so, what have they done with them? If anything, as far as regulations. Park and Recreation Master Plan. Hopefully, Monday night, we can get the committee to approve what they've submitted and submit that on forward to the town for that project. The commercial drive solar application. We're waiting on them to get the lot line adjustment filed. I haven't seen that yet. And we're waiting on them to complete all of the documentation that's required for the preliminary site plans to be,
Yeah, they gotta be getting close to having to do that. I mean, isn't that usually 6 months?
that goes back to what, October?
Yes.
So they got time.
Need to get going though.
Yeah. Like to have them get that done. We do have a new applicant who wants to do the Whitestone incentive zoning site over there on 332 and 41. We got to get, after the first of the year, back together with them to deal with that. The sidewalk trail master plan. That's going to be continued to spring. At least that's what I was told by the state DOT, to allow us to complete the work that can't be done now because the blacktop plants are closed and
Yep.
because of concrete and other things. So that's still moving forward. And the next thing up is we've got to take a look at the Ag Conservation Overlay District,
Right.
and
You got a public hearing coming up, right?
we got a public meeting on Thursday afternoon, January 23rd.
Okay.
At 1 o'clock. To sit down and talk with the landowners about any issue of concern that they have with where we're going and how this is going to work and whatnot.
Right.
So, hopefully we'll get that resolved. That's pretty much it for me.
Cool, Dan?
All that code stuff that he mentioned is keeping us very busy. So I won't recap that. Lexi in my office is my newest employee. She will be getting more involved with the planning board stuff, her and Paula. And so you might be seeing emails come out from her,
Mm-hmm.
moving forward. Fire department, as I mentioned at your last meeting, they have a new chief. I will hopefully have our meeting with them before your next meeting. So I will know who the new rep will be from the fire department.
Cool.
And again, those reps are only used when it's a
Right.
project that needs their input. So
But
more,
let them know that as we get to the final for the solar, it'll come up again, as
Yep.
it always does.
yep, so, those are things I'm gonna talk about when I meet with them, just to make sure that we continue the relationship we had with the previous chief going
Right.
through the new administration.
Who's the new chief?
Dan Walton,
Okay.
so.
Know him.
Submittals for February are due next week, so I don't have anything to report to you as of yet for your next meeting. I am anticipating a couple projects to come in, so you won't have projects to review for your next meeting, but we'll have to deem them adequate to move forward
Right.
for February. So again, not a lot of discussion for your second meeting in January, but I'm sure we're gonna have more code updates for you by then and some more informational purposes at your next meeting.
Cool.
And really, that's all I got for tonight.
Okay, Paula? You're good? There isn't any public on the
No public anywhere.
public anyways. So with that, board have anything additional? John, anything additional?
I'll send a note to Peter.
Yeah, just double check on that. I think we can pull that out now because I think it's been overruled by the state requirements.
Just update it to what,
Last
just update it to what Pete says it should be.
Yeah,
It's the assumption.
yeah, either way. All right, with that, motion to adjourn by Regina, seconded by Adrian. All in favor? Aye. All right. Thank you.